You're live.
KC0QVT. Well, hey folks, this is Ron. I'm with BridgeCom Systems. I'm here in Smithville, Missouri, and I am excited today because what I'm going to do is I'm going to review for you guys the method, how to take a radio, a DMR handheld, all the way to talking on a local repeater, and also on how to connect it to your hotspot. We've been journeying together for the last 8 or so weeks and done some live streams, taking you guys from pulling your radio out of the box, your hotspot out of the box, or talking to a local repeater. And I want to just review all that material because I do follow you guys on our Facebook group page and our YouTube channel. I read the comments, and I just know there's a lot of folks out there just joining the journey. And I think it's a great opportunity to go ahead and review all that material so that we can start off 2021 right, okay? And I've got my show notes right here in front of me that I'm going to be following, and you should get a PDF copy in the link, either with the Facebook or the YouTube. So hopefully my team will get you that copy and you can follow along with me in what I'm going to do. And of course this video will be available later on the YouTube channel we have, as well as our Facebook page. So I will try to go slow as I walk you through all of this, and I will answer questions. And I can see your comments coming in, and I will try to take time to address comments as I go through this. I don't know how long this is going to be. I suspect we'll be together for an hour. But more importantly, I just want you to have success. We've been spending the last year or so just making sure you guys have as much material in front of you, whether through BridgeCom University or our YouTube channel and our Facebook group page. I mean, there's a ton of folks in the group page that's been helping out, assisting all these new folks coming into the family, and we're doing our level best to make sure you guys have the tools you need to be successful. I mean, ham radio is supposed to be fun. We want to, we want to talk to folks. That's why we're in it. We want to meet new people. We want to tell our story, and that's why I'm into it. I love working with you guys and telling people how to, get them assisted with repeaters, with radios, and then of course all this new technology. And I'm on this journey just as well. I do engineering work most of the time, but the radio is an awesome tool to do that. So anyway, what I want to do is I want to just kind of give you an idea of, if, we got our radio here, and sometimes we're sad because we can't hit the tower. And I want us to learn that. I want us to be able to, I want your radio to, you be able to make that first QSO, okay? And that's what I'm going to talk to you about, along with trying to hit a local repeater, okay? So I want you guys happy. I want you successful, okay? And we're doing this live, so I'm going to hopefully build all this up for you live so that we can make our first QSO. So we want you happy, and that's the journey. That's the result, is our first QSO. And as I was trying to get started this morning, I've got this is my daily carry. It's an 878, Anytone 878 Plus, and I'm trying to hit the parrot. KC0QVT. Okay, I've often wondered about the building here, but it did come back. Let's see. KC0QVT. KC0QVT. want some digital. Anyway, there's a repeater here local that I've been trying to hit. Anyway, okay, so the number one goal we're going to have, and I'm following on our notes, so if you want to get that going. And by the way, let me do some quick shout outs before we get going. I got KA4FOX, Renard, Don Stewart, good morning, Western Pennsylvania, Greg Nally, Arkansas, Kilo India 5, Mike Igloo, India Lima, Steve Picone, how you doing, Steve? Whiskey 4, Oscar Bravo Zulu, Dave Sevier, Whiskey 4, Sierra Echo Victor in Tennessee. Wayne Lewis is here from Pittsburgh. How about those Steelers? Are they going to do it? Okay. So anyway, I will answer your guys' questions as the show progresses. So let's go ahead and get started. And what we want to do is start off by, I've got my daily carry here, but I've got a radio. This is the radio that I've been using in the previous live streams. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and initialize that from start. So I'm going to go ahead and turn this off. And that's what we're going to start off fresh. So I am going to turn this radio off, and you go ahead and see that. And then what you want to do to initialize the radio is you want to press and hold the PTT button and that button that's right above it. And then we're going to turn it on. Okay. And that's going to ask me, are you sure you want to initialize the radio? And I'm going to go ahead and confirm that, okay? So I am basically taking this radio back to its, I'm wiping it clean. Okay, and then of course it asks me to confirm the date. I'm just going to go ahead and confirm this. Okay, and then of course it comes up with the default welcome any tone. And it should just populate with the generic profile that the factory settings. Okay, so we've initialized the radio. All right, now I'm hopeful that you all have amateur radio licenses. Okay, so the next step in the journey for you is you want to get a DMR ID. You have to have this in order to play in the sandbox with DMR. And you want to go to radioid.net, okay, and get you a DMR ID. This is mission critical. If you don't have this, you can't, nobody knows who you are, and you can't play in the sandbox with all these various networks that are out there. Okay, and there's been some consolidation in the world there. There was another group of folks that issued DMR IDs, and they've been since merged in with radioid.net. And the gentleman that handles that is Glenn. Glenn's a great guy. He's got he's building up a nice resource for us. So when you go get your DMR ID, the turnaround on getting a DMR ID is pretty quick. So you have to supply your amateur radio credentials and go through the steps and get that. In fact, I'll jump into computer here real quick and just show you a screenshot. We'll go to radioid.net. Maybe. My internet down? I think it's coming now. Can't read. Why is it not going up? Yeah, hang on a second, guys. It's live, so I got signal there. Let's see if our website's up. Could be the website. Well, our website's working.
You think it's just radioid.net?
Maybe radioid.net's down. Okay, happens. Try it again. Yeah, there's something going on. I don't know what that is. But yeah, our internet's up. It's just for whatever reason it doesn't. All right. Anyway, radioid.net is where you want to get that information. Okay. And then point 2, and by the way, we do offer a 3-step guide for this, and I'm kind of just going through that, but what you want there is you want to get a good radio. Get a good radio that does digital. Oops. Does DMR, okay? Now, there's a lot of good radios on the market. We offer the 878, the 878 Plus, and the 868, as well as the 578 Mobile from Anytone. We've been aggressively, promoting that, and it's been a really good radio and getting a lot of folks into the sandbox. Okay, so we got to, and one of the criteria that I often suggest is, get one that allows for a lot of contacts. Because one of the things that happens is the DMR, the database is getting very, very, very large. Now you can pare it back and make it small for your particular region, but I think it's around 186,000 contacts the last time I looked. So you definitely want to get a radio that can support a lot of contacts, so that, as we'll show here in a moment, that your radio can display all that information as you import that. Okay, so the next step in the journey is you want to find a local DMR repeater, okay? So that, and again, that's what we're going to work on first. We're going to look at a repeater to talk through with our radio, and then we're going to use the next step is we'll use a hotspot. But I'm going to first show you guys on how to connect to a local repeater. So find a local DMR repeater. Okay, and I'm going to show you where to do that. And you want to go to a website called repeaterbook.com. Okay, this is the best resource that I've found on how to discover if a repeater is in your area. Okay, and I will go to that website right now and just take you on a quick tour, and we'll locate the repeater that I am going to try and talk through. Okay, repeaterbook.com, and we're in Missouri, so I'm going to North America Repeaters. Okay, and it's going to populate with this, you got this view of the country, the United States. Okay. And then, of course, here's what's available for Missouri. You're going to have all these bands and various features. And we're going to go ahead and click on DMR. Okay, this is going to allow for the list to populate with just DMR repeaters in the state of Missouri. And these are the folks that have registered with repeaterbook.com. They've made their credentials available, basically saying, hey, we're an open repeater, come on over. Of course, there's one caveat to that. Even though they're available to everybody, these are private property for most people. They're put up by private individuals, and they do have rules that they want you to follow on, talking through the repeaters, and that we'll get into that here in a moment. But anyway, the repeater, we are located in the Kansas City, Missouri area, and I can sort this list by location. You can press that and it'll alphabetize the listings. You can see KCI, and this is the repeater you can see my mouse here, the Kansas City KCI Airport. Now, I'm going to go ahead and we're going to build our code plug around that repeater, okay? Now, I do know for a fact that this listing has not been updated for that repeater. I do know that this repeater is located now, I think, about 6 or 7 miles north of me in Trimble. But Trimble, Missouri, that is. I'm in Smithville, Missouri. Trimble, Missouri is about 6 or 7 miles north, okay? So you want to pick a repeater that's in proximity to where you live, and you can click on that field and it will populate with the credentials about this particular repeater. which is really cool. You can get if they've done it, you can get the exact coordinates of the repeater, and it'll give you somewhat of a footprint of how much coverage area it'll have. And it's all, of course, estimated. And then you'll also learn some of the requirements for when you go to build your channel. Yeah, I got Craig says radio ID is down, and they're echoing the same sentiment. So yeah, perfect timing. Okay, so we found a local repeater, and this is where you want to go find it, repeaterbook.com. And you want to click on those credentials and figure out what is it that they want. Okay, and in this case, we know that it's on the Brandmeister network. It uses the transmit frequency of 444.4625 and 449.4625. That's the pair. The color code, which is effectively like your PL tone from the analog days. This is the access code, if you will, to cause the repeater to open. And in this case, that's color code 4. So we want to be on color code 4. Now, interestingly, there's additional credentials. It says they're on the air, okay, and they say use TS1, which stands for time slot. Use time slot 1 for all other Brandmeister talk groups. See BYRG website for talk group assignments, okay? And we can go here and look at this open talk group view, and they've got some interesting information. We got the parrot on 2, time slot 2. Okay, that's just some kind of housekeeping stuff for them. Okay, and so they want us on time slot 2, so we know we want time slot 2. Okay, and that's, I'm sorry, time slot 1. Time slot 1, I messed that up. Okay. Okay, and we know they're on the Brandmeister network. Okay. So let's go ahead and just put that on this whiteboard here real quick so that we know where we're going. Okay, because we're trying to get to the mountain. We are on, we know that the repeater transmits on 444, so we know we got, the radio is going to be receiving on 444, 4625. Okay, and the radio is going to transmit on 449, 4625. Okay, we know we have a color code of 4, and we want to be on time slot 1. Okay, and we also need to know that it's on the Brandmeister network. That's really important, because that's going to tell you what talk groups are available on that network. Okay, so we're finishing up with point 3. All right, so now that we know that, I'm going to jump into the computer and I'm going to start reading from this radio that I just reinitialized. So this radio is fresh out of the box. Now, the next step is, if you haven't done so, you need to go to get the, for the Anytone in this case, you want to download the CPS from, in our case, our website. Our support page has the latest Anytone CPS software for the 878 and the 878 Plus, and it's version 1.21. Now, I've already installed that on my machine. I have a Windows-based computer here. It's a tablet computer. I got this on Amazon. I paid $100 for it back when we could get them for $100. I don't know if they're still available, but I was looking around, and it works on a low-cost tablet computer, the software. So I highly suggest, if you're needing a computer to dedicate to your programming of radios for this particular, in this case, CPS and radio, you need Windows. Or if you're going to use a Mac, which we do have folks doing that, you have to have some way to emulate Windows. And I'm not even going to get into that, because that, you know, we do know that it works. We've got some videos on our YouTube channel that show you how to do that, but that's another rabbit trail. But anyway, I've got a Windows-based computer, and I'm going to hop in here, and I've already installed the version 1.21 software, okay? And Most of you guys are good with doing that, so I'm going to just assume you've got it installed. So I want to go ahead and run this as an administrator. That's important too. It seems like that causes less friction. So I'm going to just press yes I want to make the adjustments. Okay. And okay, so I've got my default profile that comes with when you first fire up this thing, so it doesn't know anything. So what I want to do real quick is I just want to make sure I got a connection with the radio. So I'm going to plug that in, okay, and then I'm going to go up here and set the COM and just see what it assigns it to. Okay, COM 1, I don't know what that is. I'm going to pretty sure it's COM 3, but you can experiment and try that. So I'm going to press OK, and then I just want to read the radio. I don't have a digital contact list. I just want the other data, which is the channel data and whatever they've set it up for straight out of the factory. Okay, so what you're looking at is the channels that are in this radio after you open it up and turn it on. This is what comes from the factory. Okay, these channels mean this is what if you see this, you know you've got a fresh radio. Okay. So I don't want to deal with any of these, so I am going to delete all these. Just going to step through and delete them all because I want a clean slate. So we're going to build a code plug from scratch to get you started. All right, so now I got a clean slate. All right, now I'm going to jump up real quick. Okay, let me after getting those getting the CP, getting the radio to read, and then looking and cleaning it up. What I want to do is I want to talk on certain talk groups. I want to set this up for the talk groups, and I'm going to pick some talk groups. I said 2 talk groups, but it's actually 3 because I realized after writing this that I needed the talk group disconnect in there. So we're going to program 3 talk groups into the radio. We're going to program the disconnect, which you definitely need. You need a disconnect because you want to be able to tell that repeater when you're done having your QSO, you want to turn it off. And that's pretty standard on all these networks as talk group 4000. And then what we want to do is we want to put in the parrot, which is talk group 9990, and it is a private call. And that's very important. And then for fun, I was going to put in the Florida statewide talk group because I want to see if I can meet some folks in Florida. Okay, so the next step is the you need to know your radio ID. Everybody's got a radio ID.
Should be back up now.
Okay, yeah. All right. Okay, they're back up. That's good because I need to know what my radio ID number is because I don't have that committed to memory, and I was worried there. So let's do this. We got this database, so I'm going to go find my radio ID. I was going to say radioid.net, but my radio ID. So I'm on Glenn's website, DMR user ID search. Okay, so my call sign, it's already in there. I'm going to type in Kilo Charlie 0 Quebec Victor Tango. And I'm going to search for that. My DMR ID is 312-9172. So let's see. DMR ID. I hope you can see this. 312, let's say 9172. Okay, well, that's your telephone number effectively on all, and that's what Glenn's given on radio ID. Now he's going to give you a telephone number so that you can play in this world, and you need that. It's very important. So what we're going to do now that I know my number, is we're going to put that in the radio and called the radio ID list. So jumping over to the computer, I want to change this. Now you'll see there's a default one in there, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, my radio. We're going to change that to 312-9172 because that identifies me. So 312-9172. And I'm going to type in radio ID, now I'm going to type in Ron, and I'll just put my call sign, KC0QVT. And that should do that. So that's the next step. That's what you want to do. So that this way the radio knows what I'm doing. Okay, so now what we want to do is we want to program in these talk groups. Okay, now I'm going to manually put in 3 talk groups. Okay, now I'm doing this because I want you to see the process, but in the future you can extract a huge list of talk groups and import them into the radio. You can get the talk groups that the entire network supports. And I could do that, but I want to go ahead and show you the bare bones, what's going on here. And I'm going to build up a list of talk groups, 3 of them in this case, to just show you the process. And this will, you know, but in the long run, you might want to just go get you a talk group list from someplace. And that's another journey for us. And I do have a video on that we did a while back, and that'll probably be in the show notes of this show once it's published. Okay, so what you want to do is go over here to digital, and you want to click on this radio ID list. Oh, I'm sorry. Let me back up. You want to go to this contact list. Contact talk groups. They spell it contact, C-O-N-T-A-C-K. So, all right. So what we want to do is we want to edit this, okay? And we are going to create 3 talk groups, and we're going to call this name. This first one is, I'm just going to call it disconnect. It's hard to see on this small screen. If you can even see if I'm spelling it right. C-O-N. Yep. This is a group call, and this ID is 4,000. Okay, and I'm going to click OK. Okay, there's my first talk group. The next one I'm going to do is the parrot. So I'm going to type in parrot. And this is a private call. Now, I know there's some other numbers for a parrot that have, I'm just paying attention to your comments. There is some parrots that are group calls, but in this case I'm going to do the parrot as a private call. And in this case it's 9990, okay? Okay. And then the next talk group is I'm going to put in Florida. Florida. And by the way, there's talk groups for practically everywhere. You got talk groups for all the states. You got talk groups for subsections of the states. You've got talk groups for all kinds of different topics. Folks get together and create talk groups, and then they can, you know, it's awesome what we can do with this platform. The guys at Brandmeister, the guys at TGIF, the guys on the DMR Mark, the folks that are making these networks are really banging it out of the park. I tell you, it's created an awesome place for us all to meet other people and just, you know, tell our stories. I mean, you can just sit and listen to folks talking. And I mean, that's why we got into ham radio, to meet folks. It's not like HF, I get all that, but it's just another medium to talk on. So, you know, I know there's a hot debate about whether or not this is real ham radio. It's ham radio. It is. We're all on we're all in our own little thing doing whatever, and we all just, you know, pivot to various interests as whatever the wind blows for us. Okay, so 3112 is the talk group, okay, for Florida. And I looked that up earlier, by the way. And I can show you real quick. Let me just do that because I want you guys, I don't want to, you want to go to a website called brandmeister.network in this case, and it's going to have a list of all the talk groups. I believe, I think, I don't know if I want to go down this road. I kind of want you to, whoops, information, service. Yeah. I'll tell you what, I know you can go out, like if you want to, just Google Brandmeister talk groups and you can go get a list of the talk groups and their various numbers, and then that's where you can find out what's available. And I'm not going to go down that trail. So anyway, we've got these talk groups now. Okay, so now we've set them up. And as I state in point 5, you might want to later import a talk group list that you can get from somebody else, or even you're in your club. But this is how you build it up. And it depends. The talk group list seems to be unique to the network you're on. And so in this case, we're on Brandmeister. So you'd want to look up at a current Brandmeister talk group list. Okay, so now what we want to do is we want to create some channels, okay, for these talk groups. And this is where we're going to use, this is where we're going to use this information that we gleaned from repeaterbook.com. Okay, so here I clicked on the channel, and I've got a whole pile of channels that I can put in here. So we're going to build up a channel. And so I'm going to left double click on that field, and I'm going to call this channel 1, and it's going to be called, it said it was called the KCI repeater. I know it's not at KCI anymore, but I'm just going to go ahead and set that up. So I'm going to call it KCI disconnect. Okay, and it is on 444.4625 and 449.4625. Okay, it is digital. The transmit power, we go ahead and set that to high. The bandwidth is going to be 12.5. Of course, talk permit always, scan list none. Okay, we want DMR mode. It's going to be repeater. Okay, that's important to put that in there. Okay, the radio ID obviously is set for Ron, me. The disconnect is, it's defaulted to disconnect. We're going to put that in there and just leave it there. The color code is 4. Okay, go down here and click 4. And the time slot is already 1. You can see slot 1, slot 2. Okay. Now, this is where a lot of folks just get hung up. Okay, in creating these. I'll go as slow as I need to. But this is the first step. Okay. You set up your transmit receive frequency. The channel type's digital. Repeater mode, that's key. Your color code is, you got to have that. That's 4. If you don't get that right, you can't get into repeater. You definitely need to know what that repeater's color code is set for. And definitely the time slot, okay? And we know it's slot 1. That's what they've asked us to do, and we're going to oblige them. Okay, so I've created my first channel, okay? All right, Steve Michael, awesome. There's the link. You guys on Facebook, ham-dmr.br. ham-dmr.com.br has uploaded, you can get a PDF of the talk group list. Now what would be really cool is the actual a CSV file of that for the Anytone. So anyway, there's a guy right there that's put that out for you. All right, so the next channel. Now I could go ahead and hand crank this again, okay? But I want to show you a quick and easy way to do this. You can copy and paste. I'm going to copy this, and I'm going to paste it to slot or channel 2. So I got that for channel 2, and then I'm going to left double click in here, and I got all the same thing. And all I need to do in this case is I just need to change the talk group. So now I'm going to put the parrot, okay? Whoops, I think you just left double click on that. There. Oh, and by the way, let me show you real quick. If you just highlight the field, it'll populate with the talk group number. It's kind of a neat little trick you can look at to see, to verify that that is the talk group. So we're going to put that on the parrot. Okay. Time slot 1, color code 4, and I'm going to paste it again.
KB8VLL from KB0SQW.
No, that's my daily carry. So somebody's coming in. Okay, and I just realized that I have to change the alpha tag. So I'm going to change this to parrot. All right. And that's key. You want to definitely do your alpha tag. So let's go and let's do Florida. So we're going to change it to KCI Florida. All right, and then I am going to change the contact to Florida. All right. So I have now created 3 channels, and I added the talk groups. Okay, talk groups were created or imported depending on where you are, and now we're going to we made the channels that have the talk groups in them, and now what I'm going to do is I'm going to create what's called a zone. On the Anytone, you have to have a zone, and I think most of the radios out there support this concept of zones. I don't have a lot of experience with the other brands, but I know that I think the TYTs, they use zones as well, but it's a common terminology when you're dealing with stuff. And zones are basically collections of talk groups. Okay, so we need to create but you have to have at least one zone. Okay, so I'm going to go over here. On the left side, we're underneath the word public, and I am going to click on the zone, and you can see I have no zones in the repeater or the radio yet. And so I'm going to left double click, and I am going to create a zone, and I'm going to call this the KCI zone. Oops. Maybe. Let's see. There we go. All right, so I've alpha tagged the zone, and now I want to put those 3 channels that I just created, which you can see are available on the left side. I want to move them over into the zone. Okay. Now you'll notice at the top there's going to be an A channel and a B channel, and that is what will happen when you enter the zone. That's what's going to populate, assuming you've got your radio set up to show a top and a bottom channel. Okay, now we'll get into that as I show you that on the radio. And you can customize this radio to function however you want, which I've done a bit of that on my carry here. But that's one of the beauties about this radio. You can make it any way you want. You can play around with the configuration, and I'll show you. That's in the optional settings tab, and I'll show you that here in a moment. But anyway, we've got the zone created, and now we added the channels to the zone. We're ready to write it to the radio. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and write this to the radio, and we'll see if I know what I'm talking about. Okay, so I got to plug the radio in. Oh, it's already plugged in. Oh, by the way, one thing I made a mistake of. In order to be able to sometimes we program the radio and we don't unplug it, and we wonder why we can't hear anything. Well, you have to unplug the radio. So I'll show you that here in a moment. So read or write objects, other data. I don't care about the contact list because I haven't done anything with that yet. So I'm going to write to this radio, and it works. Okay, and I've just written this. So let's go ahead and show the radio here, Joe. Okay, it's going to reboot. And it's got my welcome message because I've not changed that, and it should default. Let's see, we got, oops, we want, did I, let's see, I want to go here to zone, select KCI zone, select, switching to their, okay, all right. Let's see. What the heck? Oh. Okay. All right. Okay, I think I know there's a optional settings. Okay, power on. I want. Okay. Okay, this is something that I did not anticipate. I want the startup zone. Okay, that's where you get, let's just change that. Let's see, off. Okay, I am going, the default startup channel I want to set to on, so I'm going to change that real quick. So let's do that, and I'll write that. Copying the data to the radio. There's so many gotchas with this stuff. I mean, I've been working with this for a long time, and I still get snagged up at times. So if you guys are, if you guys get snagged up, do not despair. I mean, there are answers. I mean, sometimes you'll sit there and you've done it so many times, and you just realize there's so many details. And but I don't be intimidated, because there is a. Okay. There we go. All right. So it's displaying the zone now. Okay. Okay. You notice that when I change the display and then it goes dark again. I do not like that. I want to change that real quick. So I'm going to, that way, and that also helps me show what I'm doing here, because it keeps going off. But there is a settings section here, okay, and this is part of your radio set, okay, and this is your light time. Right now it goes off every 5 seconds. I'm going to change this to always, because I don't want this thing to go off while we're doing our demo here, okay. So I'm going to go back. Now this thing should not, it should not go off now, which is cool. All right, interestingly, you'll see that we've got the KCI zone, and you'll notice that it's displaying the frequency, which I don't want that either. I want it to display the alpha tag, and you got to go over here to optional settings as well. And I believe, let's see, the display. Right. Okay. Call display mode. Okay. This is where you set up all this stuff. I believe. I think. Okay, well, I'm not going to get it. Okay, we got channel 1. We know that from our, we know channel 1 is the, anyway, I was trying to get the alpha tag to display. Okay, we know channel 1 is the disconnect, and we know channel 2 is the parrot, and we know channel 3, and you can see it going right here, channel 1, channel 2, channel 3, and I believe, yeah, option settings. I see Steve, my channel name, yeah. That's not it. Okay. Well, anyway, I'm gonna take this off here, and I know I'm on channel 2, and I'm going to see if I can hit the parrot. And we're going to go in the computer here real quick. Yeah, the parrot, channel 2. See. Repeater. Let's try Florida, channel 3. I'm on the right frequency. Oh, somebody's on there. That's why I can't get in. So I did you hear that? Somebody. You can see. Whoops. The disconnect. Okay. I want to get her on parrot. Let's see. Well, it went off the zone. Okay. I can see it trying to attack the repeater. Well, here, I've got my radio over here. Let's see what's going on. I don't know if I'm in a bad KC0QVT. I don't know if that repeater's on or not. Anyway, I can, I'll tell you what, this radio here I know was working before, and I believe I've set this up. I mean, it's, should be getting in the repeater. But this is what you go through, guys. I mean, you got KC0QVT. I don't know if I'm in a bad spot here or what. Tried this a while back. Okay, well, if I'm going to put that aside for a moment, and I'm going to work. Let's just jump down into setting up the hotspot. Okay, Craig. Let's see. So what we're going to do is we're going to move to a hotspot and take a moment and
KC0QVT.
Yeah.
This is N8CQD.
Yeah. Let's see. He's on. Okay, I don't have Florida in this radio, but I do have what's called. I got talker alias coming in. Yeah, I've got bad coverage in this room. I didn't realize it was that bad. Okay. And KC0QVT. I hit the repeater that time. I saw it get in. Yeah. KC0QVT. Okay. They are hearing me. And that is coming through that repeater. So anyway, I'm not going to, in the interest of time, I'm not going to get too far down the hole. But this is how you set up a radio, okay, for a repeater. Yeah, somebody's trying to call me on that. So I am hitting that repeater. Okay. All right, it's live, folks. Okay, so let's jump into the hotspot, okay? And I know this is going on a little longer than I'd hoped, but I'm going to jump into the hotspot now because I want you guys to also know that a hotspot is another vehicle that we can get into and use to reach the world, okay? So in the case of a hotspot, I've got a sky bridge here that is, it's right out of the box. I've connected it to my IP network, and the first thing I want to do is I want to find my IP address of the hotspot. Okay, now this hotspot does have a display, and that makes it awful nice in terms of locating the IP address. Okay, so what we want to do is I can look down on the hotspot and I can see that it's on 192.168.2.32. Now this is that they should come out of the box set up for DHCP, and I'm not going to get into all the network technobabble, but that is what you want to use to go in and actually serve up your what's called Pi-Star. It's the configuration utility. Yeah, Ray, Whiskey 2 DEA says he heard me. Okay, I think I'm in a room that I think's got some issues, folks. I'm sorry about that. I mean, sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't. So, keep that in mind as you're testing your radios. I mean, go outside after you program them, because sometimes you can hit a repeater and sometimes you can't. I know there's a lot of concrete around me right here, and I do believe the repeaters, it is up north. I can go outside and probably hit it. Maybe we'll have to do a live stream on that sometime, but it is available. But that's the risk of doing something live like this. You gotta take your chances. But anyway, the hotspot is another way to show you that you can have effectively a gateway into the world right in your house, and I'm going to show you that. Okay, so I went to the website of this hotspot. This is what if you look on the computer screen here, and you can see the Pi-Star digital voice configuration. Okay, so we want to, I believe if we want to set, it says MMDVM host and simplex mode, but we want to go ahead and apply that. This is the default settings when you power it up. Yeah, Ray, thank you so much. Whiskey 2 Delta Echo Alpha, it's working. I thought it was. I just, with everything going on, I wasn't getting the acknowledgement that I had. Okay, but anyway, we're gonna put this back up here real quick, and that way we'll put the hotspot. But we have to set, or we'll talk it to it on the hotspot. But we're gonna go ahead and set up the hotspot to talk to the radio. Okay, so now it says it's been updated. All right, so what that does is that causes this MMDVM host configuration section to appear. And we want to go to DMR mode, okay? And I'm going to go ahead and apply those changes. And that's going to allow for some other stuff below to be seen. And it is resetting. And you can look at your screen sometimes and you can see, some status indications. But typically the hotspot doesn't need to be messed with, and so you can see up here on the right it's going round and round and it's getting its update. All right. The modem section, okay, yeah, we're going to do that here. Okay, so this hotspot here supports a display, and I know that it's a Nextion display. The port in this case is a modem, and it uses this ON7LDS-L3HS. So I'm going to apply that so that I can at least, I know that when this thing works, it's going to display the proper formatting to this display. There's a lot of hotspots out there. There's some that have displays and some don't, but it's important to make sure this is all set up so that it'll work correctly with your hotspot. And it's restarting. Okay. And I'm not certain if I'll put that maybe like that. I don't know if y'all can see that or not, but I'll try. Okay, it says okay. All right. So now here's where we're on item number 2. We got into the hotspot. Apparently I was already logged in, so I did, but the username and the password is username. This is defaults to Pi-Star, password's Raspberry. So I'm going to update. I updated the control software to MMDVM host and simplex mode. That's how I was able to see this DMR configuration here. Now, once the changes are applied and the MMDVM resets, the MMDVM host configuration settings will appear. So we set the DMR mode as the mode, and then we set up the display, which is item number 3. Now what we want to do is we want to set up the general configuration information, which is right here on our screen with our credentials. Now, in this case, the host name is Pi-Star, and my node call sign is my call sign. So I'm going to type in KC0 QVT. Okay, this is where you put your DMR ID in. Okay, so we already looked that up, and and we want 3129172. Okay, now I've put in here the simplex frequency that we're going to operate on. I chose 446.525. Okay, arbitrary, just make sure it doesn't interfere with somebody else, but these are frequencies that we can use. So I got 446.525, and I've entered it in before, so I'm going to put that, and then okay, I've entered it before, so I'm now going to go down to the latitude and longitude. Now, this information is what's going to be exported to the DMR server or the network so that they can kind of get an idea of where you're located. In this case, I'm in Smithville, Missouri, and a quick way to get your lat is just type in Smithville, Missouri, LONGLAT in your search bar, and that's going to populate where I'm at. So I'm going to cut and paste this. So I know my latitude is that, my longitude is that, which is 94. So I'm going to, and I think you need to leave the minus sign there. and this is Smithville, Missouri. And I've already typed that in before. My country is USA. Okay, my website, I believe, is, yeah, I'll just put in BridgeCom. Let's see. I'll just put in BridgeCom Systems because that's me. Okay, now the next step is key. That we need to let the Pi Star know what kind of hotspot or is sitting on the Raspberry Pi computer in this case. Now, in our case, it is the Zoom Spot dual band Raspberry Pi. Now that's the intelligence that tells the Raspberry Pi how to talk to the hat that sits on there, and in this case it uses the credentials for that. The node type is public. Okay, we're in the time zone. I'm in the Chicago time zone. That's central Midwest, and we want English US. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and apply these changes. And it should say it stopped. Okay. And it's restarting. It's restarting. And it should repopulate. There we go. All right. So I'm good to go there. It retained everything. And now I want to tell it which DMR master to go to. And I'm going to leave that as DMR, and I want the Brandmeister, let's see, I want to use Brandmeister United States. Okay, you got 3101, 3102, and 3103 for all of us in the United States. 3101 on East Coast, 3102 Midwest, 3103 probably west of the Rockies. So I'm at 3102. Okay. And hotspot security. That's number 5. We just did put our DMR master as Brandmeister, and that's where we're at, depending on your location. Okay. And type in the BM password. Now, with Brandmeister, you need a password, and I've already got me one a while back. And what you want to do is you want to go back to Brandmeister.network, and you want to log in, or register is what you want to do, and you want to get yourself a DMR. You want to get your hotspot so you can camp on or get on their network, and they require a password now. But I've already done that, so I'm going to log in real quick, and I'm going to show you that after you've registered with the network, you want to go down here to where it says My Hotspots after you've registered with the network, and you're going to see, like, My Hotspots right there that they know about. Okay, and that's my DMR ID. And then what you'll do is you'll go over here to self-care. Maybe. There we go. Okay. And set up your hotspot security and then enter your new password. Okay, well, I've already done all this. Okay, and so I'm just going to go ahead and enter my password, but that's what you definitely need to have that in order to get your hotspot to work. So I'm going to go back over here to my setup screen, and I'm going to type in my password. And looks like they've done a bunch of stuff since I've been in here last. They've added, I hope that's right. I'll try it. Okay, color code on the hotspot is 1. Okay, and keep that in mind as we change, like that's a repeater. Okay, so I'll just put this over here. So we got hotspot. We got color code of 1. You still have to use color codes, okay? And they all default to time slot 2 most of the time. And we know our frequency is 446.525. And that's simplex. Okay? So I'm going to go ahead and apply these changes. and I should be able to see myself on Brandmeister. Now, I see they got a DMR master and a Brandmeister master. So let's see what happens when this resets. And I chose them to be the same. Yep. All right. Don't want to save that. All right, so let's go ahead and go on down here and see how, okay, yeah, I thought they would dither all that out. Okay, so we're on the DMR master of 3102, hotspot security, I entered that. We're on time slot 1, time slot 2, color code 1. All right, so now what we want to do is we want to go to the CPS and we're going to create 3 channels like we did on the repeater, but we're going to set them up for the hotspot, okay? So I'm going to go over here to the to my CPS, and I've got these 3 channels, and so now I know that I'm on 446.525. So I'm going to populate this, and I'm going to call this channel just like we did earlier. I'm going to call it. I'll just call it Skybridge. Yeah, Skybridge. I'll just use SB in the interest of time. SB disconnect. Okay, and I'm going to do 446.525. Whoops, messed that up. Added a 2 to that. 446.525. Okay, now the DMR mode is simplex. Okay. And I'm going to change the transmit power to low because it's right here. Okay, it's digital. Color code is 1. Time slot is 2. And this is the disconnect talk group. It's a group call. Okay. And I am going to move this up so I can close this. And I'm going to pray OK. Now, I want to copy that and I want to paste it. And I want to create the parrot. Okay, low power, color code 1, time slot 2, change the contact to parrot. It's a private call, 9990. Click OK. Now I want to copy it again, I want to paste it again for channel 6, 446.525. And we're going to go to Florida. Okay. Color code 1, slot 2, and change the talk group to Florida. It's a group call. All right. So now we created the channels, 3 channels. Now we're going to create a zone. So I'm going to call this in slot 2, I'm going to call this the Skybridge zone. Okay, and I'm going to add these Skybridge channels that I just put in there. Okay, great. So I got 3 channels in the Skybridge zone. So I should be able to now go ahead and write this to the radio and have 2 zones. And one of them is to talk to this. And it should be listening, and it does say it's listening. So I'm going to write to radio. There it goes. I'm on page 3, by the way, because I'm adding the channels I just wrote to the zone, to the radio. Okay, and select the zone. It's restarting. Okay, and I want to disconnect that. Okay, and I want, okay, the light time, okay, the light time went off because I did not change it in the CPS, and it overwrote the radio and changed those settings. So I'm going to change them back. Look, radio set, light time, always. Now, in order for that to fix that permanently, I'd have to read the radio out and then that from the computer into the computer and save it. So that's a good tip for you. If you make some changes to the radio by manual, you want to read that out of the radio before you dump your profile back in, because if you don't change them in the profile with the CPS, you'll override everything you've been working on, and all that time was wasted. So now, as you can see, the time is, or the display is lit permanently. So we want to check the zone. Let's check the SkyBridge zone, select the zone, switching to the SkyBridge zone. Okay, I got channels 4, 5, and 6, okay, in the SkyBridge zone. I know 4, if I go over here and look, channel 4 is my disconnect, channel 5 is my parrot, and channel 6 is Florida. So I'm going to hit the parrot real quick and see if I can, if it does it. KC0QVT.
KC0QVT.
All right. Well, that's a relief. All right. So I know I can hit the parrot. That is my, you can see it, KC0QVT. You can see my name comes up on the, or my call sign comes up on the web, the display.
KC0QVT, you can see.
Yep. And it repeats obviously everything you say. All right. So let's see if I can talk to somebody in Florida. This is KC0QVT monitoring Florida statewide. Anybody copy for radio check?
KC0QVT, this is N8CQD in Greenville, North Carolina. Copy loud and clear. Name is Bill.
All right. So Bill just got back with me. That's cool. So I just made a new friend. I'm going to ask him to repeat his call sign because I didn't write it down very quick. Hey Bill, this is Ron, KC0QVT. What was your call sign, my friend?
Kilo Charlie 0 Charlie Hotel Echo.
Okay, that wasn't Bill. Kilo Charlie 0 Hotel. Wait.
The call is N8CQD, November 8 Charlie, Quebec Delta.
Okay, November 8 Charlie, Quebec Delta. Hey Bill, November 8 Charlie, Quebec Delta. Thank you so much for coming back to me. I appreciate it. Anyway, yeah, my name's Ron, KC0QVT. A pleasure meeting you. Thank you for the comeback. All right, there you have it. Sure he'll respond.
Thank you very much. Have a good day. N8CQD.
Cool. Okay, so we got a hotspot set up. We connected to the Brandmeister network with that. We programmed our Anytone fresh from scratch for a local repeater. Now you obviously saw that there was some issues there. I don't know what's going on, but the same principles apply. You need to know your transmit and receive frequency. You have to know the color code of the device. In this case, the hotspot is color code 1, and you set that up in the Pi-Star. You know the time slot of the repeater, okay, and the color code of the repeater or the hotspot. All these principles apply. And then, of course, you select the network that you want to be on. And in this case, we did the Brandmeister network. You have to have a DMR ID. I'll open the floor for some questions if you guys have it, but that's it. I mean, that is how you get going, and this is how you get started with your radio. And we did have success. I mean, I made a friend named Bill. I'm going to send Bill a card, a QSL card. He's down in, I think he said North Carolina. So, been a pleasure meeting Bill, and I mean, I could go anywhere with this thing now. I've got the hotspot. I can keep it in my house, or I could put it in my vehicle. You can actually, these things will work off Wi-Fi to where you can put them on your cellular phone, and that's another way to get some coverage as well. So anyway, folks, that is it. Anybody got any questions? Are you seeing anything coming in on Facebook? Okay. But anyway, what I want to do, we always we've got our Facebook group page. I want to invite you guys to join up. It's our BridgeCom Systems official Facebook group page. There's a lot of folks on there. Last time I checked, we're close to 7,500 members there. And there is, you know, a lot of folks willing to help you, a lot of friendly people, and I invite you. I'm on there every now and then. I'll chime in, welcome new members, answer questions and stuff. We've got a staff of folks here at BridgeCom that are, you know, you can call and or email. The best way to get a hold of us is through a support ticket if you have any issues. Also, we're always doing a giveaway. It seems like we got a giveaway going on every interval. What's the giveaway? Do you know?
The giveaway is the ho 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 giveaway.
We're still. You can still register.
Yep.
Okay. Yeah, we got it's for Christmas time. It's called the ho 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 giveaway. I think we're giving away 3 radios, 3 878 pluses. Is that right? Yeah. Yeah. Somebody else is trying to get a hold of me, so I'm gonna just probably wrap this up here. But anyway, yeah, we've got a giveaway going on right now, and we've got an awesome year ahead of us, and I hope you guys join us on that journey. And again, the show notes are in the down below in the Facebook page as well as the YouTube channel. And also this video is being recorded and will be published, so check it out if you need some refreshing on that. But in the meantime, 7.3s, I hope you enjoyed this session. I mean, in warts and all, we built a code plug, we talked to a repeater, and we talked to the hotspot. 7.3, folks.